Welcome in. This episode's going to be another shorter one because this episode there is lack of records, reports, and information, but that's why we want to jump on here and we want to cover it. There were over 200 people at this event, and there has to be multiple people who saw what happened. We're doing a second little short one, and it's because these two cases, it caught our attention. We will be back to our regular three-part series coming next, but we wanted to stop and highlight these. This case actually happened in my home state. I live in Kentucky now, and here we go. Let's get into it. Here is an interview with one of the victims' mothers, Corey Seelye.
I know there's no way she was targeted. No way. So for them to shoot her in the neck for no reason, I don't know what to do with it.
So, like Amy said, that was Corey Seelye, who was Autumn Seelye's mom. And that was just part of the clip from WLKY, which is, I assume, a news station in Louisville. So, let's get into what happened, a little bit of information. So, on May 3rd, 2025, so this was a very recent story. This was in Louisville's Parkland neighborhood. And there was a late night crowd that was gathered in a Kroger parking lot near 28th and West Broadway. This was just after 2 a.m. And then gunfire erupted. And when all that chaos was over, two people were dying, a third was wounded. One of those was Autumn Seelye, whose mom you just heard, and she was 21. And the other was 28-year-old Martez McAtee.
Now their case remains open, and today we're going to lay out what's known and what's not. What we're going to do is we're going to let you know how you can actually help.
Right. So let's go over the timeline. Again, around 2:10 a.m., Saturday, May 3rd, 2025. So technically it would be, I guess, May 2nd, but in the middle of the night. So it's May 3rd. And there were multiple 911 calls that came in that reported this shooting in this Kroger parking lot, which, by the way, we tried to find and we couldn't find any of the 911 calls. The address, again, was 28th and West Broadway in Louisville. And when the officers arrived, there were two victims, a man and a woman. They both had gunshot wounds. Both were transported to the hospital and both passed away. And there was also a third victim, but that one survived this mass shooting. The police noted a large crowd was in the area. I don't know, this happened on Derby weekend, and I figured it meant Kentucky Derby, but I Googled it just to be sure, and that's what it meant. So in this story, when you find a couple of news articles, they keep saying Derby weekend. I just wanted to verify that, and that was what that meant.
Yeah, their names are on those lists, but they were people, families, birthdays, group chats that just suddenly went silent. Autumn's and Martez's name is there in black and white. It shouldn't be where their story ends, though.
Right. And like Amy said earlier, there just isn't a lot to go off of here to give much information. There weren't detailed forensic breakdowns. There aren't any ballistics in the records that we tried to find and go through. No suspect description. There's nothing. There's no public arrest record. So, we're going to try to stick to reports and what's documented, but unfortunately, there's just not much out there on this one.
Yeah. Local newscasts the following day referred Derby weekend violence crime wide. That was citing Autumn's death within a broadcast. Painful pattern that weekend. 5 people were killed. There were 4 others injured. That's 9 people. But their name risks getting lost in the totals. We don't want that to happen. So here we're going to say their names again. You got Autumn Seelye and Martez McAtee.
Yep. And, again, the things that aren't being publicly reported, there's no suspect name, there's no arrest, nothing like autopsy details. There's no minute by minute of either of these people's last minutes. So I don't know, the documents that we typically see on public records or even interviews or anything like that, they kind of just are going to leave us guessing.
Yeah. Newsrooms reported a large crowd on scene. People might have seen moments before the shots, or cars leaving, or phones out filming. In other cities, those little details break a case. If you were there and haven't talked to detectives, this is for you. Maybe a snitches get stitches situation, but I think not. I think it's the right thing to do.
And if you know anything about this May 3rd, 2025 triple shooting at that Kroger or their final hours and what these two were doing before they were gunned down, I'm going to give you a few phone numbers. The LMPD homicide unit is 502 574 7055. There's an anonymous tip line, 502 574 LMPD, which is 5673. And then there's the Kentucky Crime Stoppers, which is 502 582 CLUE, which is 2583.
If you're worried about being identified, anonymous options exist. Tip lines in Louisville routinely generate leads that move cases. Even a small detail can really help and really matters.
Right. And this was full of a late night crowd. It was a busy parking lot. It had derby foot traffic and, evidence like that can be rich and it can be complex also because of all the people. But you would think that there would be multiple vantage points, social media. I did see one person post right after on social media, but I didn't want to post their footage without consent. So I didn't post it, but you can find it. I don't even want to say his name, but there was one video out there that I found. Anyways, with a crowd like that, there's tons of vehicles coming in and out, and you would think there would have been surveillance video from businesses or people that were there. But I will say, we don't know what LMPD has in their hands, so hopefully they have something. But if you work in the area or you were there and you saw something, please consider contacting the authorities using those numbers that I just read off.
When cases go cold, families can feel like the world has moved on and their loved ones don't matter anymore. If you knew Autumn and Martez, share their photos, share experiences you had with them, share their favorite things, anything that you can think to keep their name alive. That's how these people are kept in the spotlight. Ask for tips, ask for questions of what happened to them. That's how we keep their name in the view.
Yeah, I agree. But let's talk about the paper trail, which is seemingly sort of non existent to us. Every homicide leaves behind official documents of some kind, dispatch logs, offense reports, medical examiner findings, narratives from people who might have been there. Not all of these are immediately made public, but some can be accessed, at least through Kentucky's Open Records Act. And I'm assuming other states have similar laws in place.
Yeah. For example, in Louisville, the LMPD, the Records Division, they keep copies of initial incident reports. You can request them directly. Sometimes the reports are redacted, but even those redactions show what investigators consider sensitive. It can reveal times, locations, even the basic flow of the night.
Right. So if anyone's interested, if you ever want to see something like this or need it, hopefully not, but something personal to you. And again, I'm sure it's similar in most cities or states. So the first step would be file an open records request. And this one specifically would be the LMPD records, or most cities have an online portal that you can use. And then step two, you should receive the CAD, which is computer aided dispatch printout. And this would be something like the 911 calls and when the police were dispatched and things like that. And then if your family or, direct, I don't know if they will do friends, but if you're next of kin, something like that, you can also request more details like autopsies and medical examiners reports through the vital statistics divisions.
All important information that I'm sure a lot of people have no clue about. And we want to mention this because it highlights what's possible and what missing from public conversation about Autumn and Martez's case. If more journalists, advocates, or even concerned citizens file these requests, the more daylight shines on an unsolved case.
Right. And obviously, they're going to withhold some things because it's crucial to the case
Right.
and they don't want to compromise it. So, like, that's understandable and expected. But, requesting records keeps pressure, like you just said, it keeps it to the forefront in the divisions. And, it ensures that their cases aren't just sitting and going dark.
Yeah, public records, they can't bring them back, but they can keep their story alive. And sometimes the spark, the one tip, it just might make the connection and make it all make sense. You just never know. Two lives ended in that lot. Autumn Seelye, she was 21, and Martez McAtee, he was 28. Someone, they know what happened.
I feel like a lot more than one person knows what happened.
I guarantee it.
Yeah. So we'll just go over the details again. If you were near 28th and West Broadway around 2:10 a.m. Saturday, May 3rd, 2025, even if you think it was something small, any little details can help. The homicide unit number again is 502-574-7055, and the anonymous tip line 502-574-LMPD, which is 5673. So I don't know. I just want to kind of talk about how, going back to what you said, the snitches get stitches thing, and I'm sure that that's playing into a lot of why there has been no arrest and why there aren't many details. But, that anonymous tip line could be everything and mean everything to these two families and his family. They did in that parking lot. I saw some footage from a news report. They went and had a little memorial type thing in the parking lot, and they have some footage as well if anyone's interested in hearing from his family. So, not many details, but I know people know something.
Mhm. Even like if you're scared to come forward because of something might happen to you, you're no, it's just not right to hold something like that in, and once if you have the information that can catch them, I mean, why not?
And I can't imagine. So, in my family's case, this sounds weird to say we're fortunate, but we knew who did it and that person is in jail forever. And there's so much peace of mind to that,
Mhm.
knowing that that person isn't out there and can't do this again to someone else. So it's hard to explain the feelings involved in something like that when it's your immediate family. It was my
Mhm.
niece in my case. Today is actually her birthday. But,
Oh.
you know, the way that this affects people's families, and especially, I cannot imagine either a missing person and not knowing what happened to your loved one, or like in this case, the person not being caught and knowing that there were so many people around and someone has to know something more than someone. I'm convinced multiple people could help out here anonymously and help these families with their grief and their closure and all of that. I mean, this has only been a few months.
Yeah, and somebody that could go into a crowd and do something like that, do you not think that they can't do that again?
Right. For sure they can.
I was just in Louisville this weekend. That person might have been walking around in the same city that I was in. So you gotta think about stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah. So this one, again, we wanted to cover because it's close to home for
Yeah,
Amy. And even though there aren't a lot of details, which makes this episode very short, we still wanted to cover it because of that.
yeah. With as many people around there, you'd also think that maybe some people traveled in and maybe possibly they don't have a clue that this happened.
Oh, for sure, because it was the Derby weekend.
Yeah. So that's why it's important to highlight these cases and not just let them go to sleep.
Right. And like Amy said, for these families, in case any one of them would ever possibly hear this, just post about them, keep them alive within yourself and your family. Like I posted about my niece this morning and posted her little zoo memorial and said, it's her birthday. If you're at the zoo, go say hi or whatever, like don't let it end here with their physical body. That's all.
No. Keep telling their story. The more times you tell it, you might just be surprised in some of the people that you reach.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, it's a shorty, but we're back to our regular trio. We aren't going to reveal yet what it is, but it should be a good one.
You guys
And
know Dawn likes secrets.
I know. I'm like rubbing my hands together, like, yes, we have a secret. Oh, all right. Well, so we will meet back here in a week for regular programming.
Oh, back on schedule?
Oh, I don't know about all that. I'm not sure yet.
Okay, we'll see.
Only because I have trips to Ohio this weekend. And I mean, it's only 4 days, whatever. But then I have in November, I'm going back for a week and a half. And then in December for, I think, 2 weeks. And the issue is the stupid flights are so expensive that I
Mm,
have to fly way before Thanksgiving and way before Christmas to be able to. And I use the miles for all the 3 tickets, but still, to make it reasonable, I have to fly in an obnoxious amount of time earlier than the holiday. But I mean, maybe I could take this stuff. I mean, I haven't filmed in Ohio, but maybe I could.
maybe we could plan out a meeting in between some of those
Ooh,
times
yes. Oh
to
my
get out and
gosh.
explore.
That's the best idea.
I
We'll
think
work
so.
on that.
I think so.
Okay, good. All right. Well, meet back here in 2 weeks. Oh, did I say a week earlier? I'm
You
sorry.
did. That's why I was
I
like, are we
meant
going
a
back
week.
on regular
No,
schedules?
sorry. My brain's just so trained to say meet back here in a week. Meet back
Because
here
it's
in
catchy.
two. Yeah. Two, two, two. Back to regular. All right. Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Guys.